Have you ever spent any time thinking about, if I just throw a bomb, maybe I can get a revolution started? Have you ever thought of that? Do you know anyone who has ever thought of that? The answer is, for me, and I believe, I would have said a year ago, the entire audience, the entire population of America, I would have said none, zero. Last night I was standing at the chalkboard, and I have been trying to figure a couple of things out. Barack Obama said a year ago, do you have the quote where he's talking about you can't rule with 51 votes on health care, where you can't govern? He said, you can't govern with just 51 votes on health care. You can't pass this and then govern. Can't happen. We can't do it that way. So why did he do that? In fact, it wasn't even that solid. Why would you do that? The next question I asked myself is, why would you go right directly to immigration reform? Something that was so divisive that it almost tore the republic apart. Why would you do that? Last night I was standing in front of a chalkboard, and I looked at I had some quotes ready from the revolutionaries that are here in surrounding the president now, and the revolutionaries from the First American Revolution. Notice I said First American Revolution, because I think the Second American Revolution is being played out right now. They're calling it the fundamental transformation. And I'm looking at these, and I'm in the commercial break, and I'm looking at the founders, and I think to myself, we are not these people. Where is George Washington? Where is Ben Franklin? Where is Thomas Jefferson? Where are these great, great thinkers? Where are they? We're not these people. Where is Samuel Adams? We have to have Samuel Adams. We must be a people that understand faith in God. Where are they? And I'm thinking, if there's a revolution now, it ends the way the French Revolution did, which is Napoleon, a dictator, bloodshed, awful, awful things, and a dictator. And I was about to go on the air. It was about 30 seconds before I went on the air, and then I looked at the others of the new fundamental transformation revolution. And I thought, oh my gosh, these people have thought of revolution. I've never thought of revolution. These people have. Where were they in the 1960s? In the 1960s, they were in SDS, Andy Stern, Medina, the new guy on immigration, member of SDS. You have Van Jones, a guy who was calling for a violent revolution. I mean, he was part of, what was the name of that communist group that he was, people believe he may have written a communist book, but there's no evidence of it, but his fingerprints are all over it. I mean, these are people that have recently, William Ayers on 9/11 said, I don't think we did enough when we were throwing bombs. These are people that were there. Now, you know all this, but have you put this piece together? Because this is what happened to me last night before I went on the air. If you were in the 1960s and you were a radical and you believed in a Marxist revolution, you were crushed. And who crushed you? Well, the good God-fearing grandparents that we all had that were going to church every Sunday, they stood up. These hippies, these people. Remember that. These hippies. Who crushed you? LBJ and Nixon. The man. Not the hippies. The man. And as you threw bombs, you realized the one thing that was on the chalkboard last night, that we are a religious and moral people. How did you pass health care? You passed it through your heart. They got it done because it's through your heart. And when your heart wasn't enough, They went for corruption, any means possible. But that's how they have done this. You hate people who are sick. You don't care about little children. They're about to do this with immigration. You don't care about them because you hate them because they're different than you. You're a xenophobe. You don't want any foreigners in. You go through their heart. Now, if I were a radical in the 60s and I was sitting back and I'd say, okay, how did we lose? We lost because we weren't in power. Arriving now, clowered in Piven. What you need to do is collapse it from the inside. You need to get as many people from the welfare rolls onto it and collapse. But remember that there needs to be a framework that it collapses into. What that means is you must have power. It's not enough to be out on the streets. You must be Richard Nixon. You must have radicals at the top. Now, if I, again, am sitting there and I'm listening to that and I think, you know what really killed us here was Americans don't like bomb throwers. They don't like hippies. Let me give you now the quote from Van Jones. I am willing to drop the radical pose for the radical ends. People don't like hippies. People don't like Marxists or communists. They know that. They also know they don't like bomb throwers. They also know America is a country of forgiveness. I threw a bomb in the past. Okay, that was my youth. I was crazy. It was an indiscretion. Stop talking about the past. Don't you have forgiveness? Your Christian charity, you don't forgive and forget? So now they're in power, the people who have plotted a revolution. They were plotting it in the 60s. Some of them still talk about throwing bombs and everything else, doing whatever they then what happens? They what? What? What after this? If you're going to take over, if you're going to end it, if you want to have the true fundamental transformation of America, what you do is you have to reverse the roles. You have to put yourself in the role of LBJ, the man, and you need to put the man, you need to put the good Christian people in your role from the 1960s, the ones with the signs and the banners in the streets. Because you can manipulate them like crazy because you know what the man did to you that pissed you off. You know what the man was doing to you that made you say, I got to get a bomb. And you also know that doesn't work. So if they're now at the top, why do you think they are needling and poking and prodding all the time? Why do you think they slap you down on health care and just as you're getting up, they punch you in the face with immigration? Why do you think they're being so divisive? If you are a loving parent and you discipline your child, the first thing you do is hug them. So you are not estranged from that child. So your child doesn't say, my daddy doesn't love me. But what have they done? They gave us a spanking on health care, and then they punched us in the face. They want you to say, Daddy doesn't love me. They need you to be estranged from them. They need you to pick up a gun or a bomb. They need you to break the law. They need you to become them in the 1960s. They need you to do it. Because they know America does not support those kinds of people, and they have become legitimate. They have dropped the radical pose for the radical ends, and they are making you the radical. Do not play into their game. They hold all of the cards. Do not do anything but get on your knees. As we turn to him, he will turn to us. This is his land. Let it play out his way. Do not pick up anything except your soul. They need you to become radical.